What's up, everybody? I think it's official. I've hit the point where I can no longer handle this business alone. I've got too many people wanting too much stuff. I need some help. So I'm going to have to expand. But I've been dealing with that for a few months now. As best I can. Now, obviously, when you're dealing with a million things by yourself all at once, some things get overlooked, some things get just forgotten, especially if I'm not reminded. So there's been a fair amount of people that I've forgotten about, that had to remind me, or so on and so forth. Now, whenever a situation like that happens in business, I always want to know what I can do to make things better. What exactly happened that upset you, if you are upset, as a business should. So that's what I do, and typically with clients, normally get some kind of decent response. I mean, this rarely happens, but it does happen from time to time. But typically a decent response of, I thought you forgot about me, or I wish you could have gotten to me quicker, or I felt like that was a little bit too expensive. Something. But with how busy I've been this summer, and those situations happening more often than usual, I started to think about that with relationships. And thinking back on my relationships and stuff kind of briefly while I'm working and tinkering away, from the time I've even been around women to now, I've never once got a solid answer from a woman about what exactly happened. This is kind of a continuation of my I'm the Devil series, but it's true. Out of dating, friendships, so on and so forth, if I approach a woman after they get upset and ask, hey, what happened? I cannot get an answer at all. This is something a lot of the MGTOW guys talk about, and just, they call it what do they call it? Because feelings. So it seems that women they'll do things just because they feel a certain way. There is no actual logical explanation. There is no rhyme or reason behind it. It's just because I felt that way. Because feelings. And I'm starting to understand that more and more, and I see it more and more in my past. Now, as the example I gave earlier in running the business, I like to know what I do wrong. That way I can correct it. I've got a high masculine energy. I like to fix things. I like to know how things work. I like to make things better. I like to solve problems. I can't help it. It's just like I just want to know. I've learned to let those things go a lot, but I still want to know. And I've had it with so many women. Let's say a relationship ends, and you're just like, well, what happened? No answer, or they can't tell you, or they make up some blatantly obvious bullshit excuse, over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then, the next week they're on the Chad or Tyrone. So obviously something happened. It was like, what, did I, slap you in the face? Was I rude? Did I drink too many beers? Did I, I don't know. You never know as a guy, I feel like. Now, here's my call out to my listeners. I want to know if y'all have experienced this too, and what you think the reasoning is. Have you ever got an actual legitimate reason why a woman didn't want to deal with you, either in friendship, romantic relationships, or business relationships, ever before? We've all got the bullshit excuses. I just need time apart, or I need a break, or I'm just not ready to date, or yada 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 yada, whatever the bullshit excuse may be. Have you ever got an actual fucking reason? I highly suspect that you have not. Highly suspect. I, I just cannot figure out why women cannot actually give reasons to anything that they do. It's kind of like when you ask them what they want to eat. They can't give a fucking answer. I don't get it. I don't get it. If I have a problem with a male, I say, hey man, what's the problem? He might be reluctant, but eventually he's going to be like, yeah, well, you called me a bastard the other night and I didn't like it. I'm like, oh, okay. Now we can solve this, right? Now we can solve this situation. Or, oh, you fucked my girlfriend. I've never done that. But you fucked my girlfriend. That's why I hate you now. Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're on the same page now. At least we can move forward. I don't understand why solving a problem with a woman is like absolutely impossible. And for some reason, they want it to be that way. Or, I don't know. But all it harkens back to me is trying to solve a problem with a narcissistic individual. They never give you a straight answer. They're always running around the bush. They're always keeping you on the back burner, pulling you on a string. They're gaslighting you. They're doing all this shit. And this is just a common female fucking trait, but yet every fucking narcissistic, abusive person does it. Okay? And I don't know exactly why. I haven't thought about it enough why, but I wanted to open this subject up to my viewers, male or female. And what is your opinion? A lot of women say it's, trying to be nice. But at the end of the day, that's not nice because it's not giving somebody closure. And as we all know, as abuse victims, if you don't have closure, it's a very hard time indeed. So it's not being nice. Is it being afraid? They're too afraid to be direct. They're too afraid to be honest. Is it that because the real reason they're ashamed of and they don't want to destroy their image? I don't know. I want to hear what y'all have to think, or what y'all think about this and what y'all have to say about this. But it has been a common trend for my entire life, and I've heard it from every guy I've ever dealt with that's going through a breakup or a bad situation with a woman. And I'm like, well, dude, what happened? And they never know what happened. They always try, and they never get a direct answer. I want to know why this is with women. I want to know why. If I break up with a girl and she says, "Look, Nick, I thought I was being a good girl, and I just don't know what happened." I'm like, "Look, well, we talked about, not texting other men. You were still texting other men. I had to let it go. Things weren't changing." It's a very simple answer. Just boom, there it is. It's not hard to do. It baffles me why women do this. So we can consider this a MGTOW video. I guess this channel's just going to go MGTOW. Oh well. But I'm not the first person to do a narcissistic abuse channel that ended up, talking about MGTOW as well. MGTOW is essentially just getting away from the abuser, just like the abuse victim gets away from the narcissistic abuser. It's no different. You realize it's a sham, you realize it's a game, and it's not working, so you walk the other way. That's all it is. But seriously, I want to hear what y'all have to say. I want to know, have y'all experienced the same thing? I want to know, maybe from some of the women, what do you think the reasons are? Why will women just never give a direct answer? Makes no sense to me.